everyone, I am Palpatine001 aka the Senate, and we are back with City Skylines 2 with all its new content and Neo Manukau Ranges using the Volchoria Map. Now, those who have been following the Manukau Ranges series, the MK1, will recognise the map. We're back on the same map, but new city, and in this case the second new city for 2026, with Waikato being the first new city for 2026, so we'll have both maps running in parallel. But we're using the same map as the original Manukau Ranges, which is now retired because updates were made to this map, particularly around the water levels. Now, and those who followed Manukau Ranges Part 1 will remember that there were huge big cliff edges, which meant some serious terraforming to get your ports and later fishing in. No longer. It's now easily straightforward to add in ports from get-go and not having to exactly worry about it. And that also includes cruise ship terminals too. Of course, the waterway paths haven't changed. At the same time, we also learned quite a bit from Manukau Ranges 1.0, including the old famous Grand Bridge having a bottleneck there because the only way to access Kaimai Valley at the time was through here, or a very circuitous route through Huntley. The other one we learned is because the city centre was placed here, and I had an exit, the sole exit here, unless you wanted to use this, which they never did because they all used to flow in this way, because we actually separated it through a motorway interchange that I didn't really want in the end. And in fact, using standard bridges is going to be much easier. We used to back up all our traffic on the bridge, which means if you were trying to pass through to get through to the city, you were out of luck. So we've got to, because the city centre will go back into the same place, we've just got to be a little bit smarter here. So I'm more likely to get an interchange here and bring it across in parallel in, or I could do some very extensive infrastructure and have this roadway connect up to here, which then, yeah, and then it's like, duh, man, should have done that last time. But hey, we learn it. This is the great thing about simulators. I get to learn from the errors without them being costly errors. In real life, you only have one shot unless you've got billions and billions of dollars, pounds, euros, won, whatever, and a whole lot of political capital to go and sink and lose to go and fix a mistake of the past. The other one is we could bring the road out this way, 4-lane it to allow it to come out here eventually, because these are, I believe these are resource rich. I'm looking again whether I just do a normal, I don't think, does the roadway go back under this? No, so I don't need to worry this time. I can just do a standard bridge across, and then if I decide to do, well, actually no, the Golden Gate actually came all the way across, then came back across this way. This time I'm more likely just to hop it through here, and you can come out with a second connection again through here somewhere, depending on where I want to sink the port. Because the port, I've got three locations I can sink it again. I can sink it back in here and create another Marsden point. I can sink it back in here, although that might be a little bit steeper this time. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Most likely we'll sink it back in here because it keeps it in close proximity. Well, once you extend it, and you create a new shipping route out this way and going around out that way, that would be good for a cruise terminal. The other thing I could do is actually relocate the city centre and sink it down, so we've got a cruise industry this time. Although again, I can bring a line up here and up and over. But I could also, this could give more room to sink the city centre. So we're doing a bit of spatial planning. City centre in here, and this will be great with the ferries. That said, that's a bit far. I have to drop the railway line down, so the railway line would go out. So again, your city centre's there, and you could establish another centre here. It just all depends. This is technically both are close to the middle. it all comes down to the resources and how I set the resources. But in any case, with the rivers being higher this time, I don't have huge big cliffs to worry about and panic about trying to get ports and having to put in huge big lumbering bridges just to try and get things moving as I did the first time. As I said, I can easily bring a route out and over and out and out if I wish to do. I love this. This was always interesting. It's like, that's technically going to nowhere unless they plan to go around the back door and then go around the bay. Power, geothermal works fine, wind works fine because we've got many hills. Nuka can work fine. Unfortunately, as much as I would love to put a hydro there, because I can't access this side of the map and this is flat, the water would go up and around and flood. So that's, I could terraform that across to make it a big thing and have it all flood through here, but is it really worth the time? No. There are other maps that are suited for, and Hydro can have issues in of itself. So there is that. So yeah, we just got to remember last time, yeah, we were saying to pick up bottlenecks in places that weren't anticipated. So again, you get that second shot that you wouldn't normally in real life. So that's the great thing about the simulator. Yeah, you get to learn those mistakes and errors and try again. So that's a good thing about it, because we're not perfect. We're not whatever deity you follow in perfection. So yeah, lessons learned. So this comes to going back to the natural resources, and I'll do it through here. So water, I was going to say water. Yeah, got ample supply of water. So you don't really need to touch the fresh deposits as much, but it does, again, allow to sink. You can sink geothermal, but really you shouldn't really need to be touching the ground pumping water stations. You've got enough water, and the water actually comes through with quite some force too. So if I was to shoot back over into... and of course I can add water sources. That's for great building lakes. So if I would go to the pumps, the water force is okay. So you've got quite a bit of maneuverability with your water pumps. So I don't need to rely on ground pumps. In fact, if anything, the water sources are a little bit quite narrow with getting a geothermal plant in, although it can most certainly be done. Yeah, you just have to be careful on where you place them. That's all. So you are restricted a little bit and where you can place them, but it can be done. Otherwise, you might as well just go straight over to a huge big sodding nuka, which is what more like, and go through there. Now again, I have got the wind turbines available, so you can wind. Ooh, okay, I could get them up here last time. Can't this time. So he's altered the wind thing. So they... Oh, no, sorry. Wrong ones. They would be... Okay, so you can get in a ton of wind turbines in certain places. You just have to be careful where to do it. And... yeah. Up in there. So there are places where you can sink the wind turbines. But back to resources. Wheat... So wheat's pretty evenly distributed. So could definitely get down here in the valley, down in the plain. Could definitely get it along one of the islands. Again, following along the river, back up along the plain. And again, those who will remember Manukau Ranges Part 1, up in the highlands. Once you can navigate your way up there. So plenty of room to pick and choose. Oil was quite constrained. Yeah, not much oil and ore. So a lot of oil is offshore. So you'll be establishing offshore industry. Otherwise, your main onshore oil fields, which is where we did establish them last time, are back up in here, quite far back up. So, yeah, you're going to be reliant on your offshore because this stuff will be quite small. It's not much oil in of itself. Forestry, we're certainly not going to have a problem in of itself. Plenty of trees to go around. You just have to pick where you want to go. Now, mainly on the islands. The mainland clear. So if I was to do the mainland, I would need the forestry tool out. Unless I come back up along this side, along back up here. So, yeah, and that just leaves ore. Ore was, again, along here. So you just got to work out where you don't clash with your oil. Okay, so you have got some clashes. Of course, back along here, which then clashes with your farming. Back up into the valleys along the side. None in the highlands. Very small amount. Down here. Down here. Down here. And some big deposits again on the island. On the islands. So, that's all considered. And then if I was to do fishing... 142 kilotons of fish, so I wouldn't need inland fishing in of itself unless I put it back up in the highlands. You would do extraction. It's an extraction industry. And you got to remember this: the first version of the Manukau Ranges was built on the map pre-fishing DLC and all that. And fish, well, we're just pouring out fish everywhere, so I'm really not going to have a problem with fishing or fish farms. I shouldn't need to touch the inlands, need to send it inland. So that's where we are with that. Now I'm just going to go back across here to check. I don't think, yeah. So that definitely confirms the city centre more. So yeah, definitely established, put the city centre back up here, but I am going to be tempted to redo this because I think this is ore and heavy, so you're going to put quite a lot of your industry back up there, and you are going to be equally reliant on your rail, unless I put on a shipping line, bring a shipping line through. That'll be a good one to navigate, actually, and I might actually do it. Yeah, so there's that, and the ore, yeah, it's all back up on that side, and of course up the valleys in a small deposit here and here. Of course, none here, but I think that was all farming. So the way you look at it, farming, urban, city centre. We can get some small ore off the ground. Your ore mines are on the islands and back up on this side. So this is going to be a lot of extraction. Of course, again, farming. And then oil, we do have land. Otherwise, depending where I put the industrial bases, a lot of it's going to be offshore, which means the port, again, like the first iteration of the Manukau Ranges and the first iteration of Marsden Point, would be here to allow connections. You've also got to realize the shipping. So, of course, you would put shipping in here to allow better connection with the shipping, and you've just got to, unfortunately or fortunately, realize that with or you could be bringing it in. Forestry allows to be planted, so you can go anywhere with that. So that makes it, again, farming, oils offshore, and it looks like apart from some small amount of ore here, your main ore is on the islands, your oil's offshore, but otherwise you're back up here. So your industry's back up here because of where your ore and oil primarily sit. Yeah, so you establish your urban here. So this would be practical as the city centre. Now, to prevent the urban bottlenecks, okay, yeah, so transport with it, and I don't, well, yeah, so if I was to bring this around, to here. And draw up and over. I don't want this serving as a highway next time either, but I've also at the same time got to realise where the island connections are going to be. So this gets a little bit fun, but you definitely reroute this one up. Technically freeze that one to come back up the other way. The other way to do it is get a clover leaf in here. So demolish that out, bring him out and around. And so he forms a parallel highway that way. Out that way and also up to this. No, maybe not. Yeah. So he forms a parallel highway across, up and over. And then he can form the leg out to the islands, which brings us that way. Which means I don't need... It depends where I want to run it all. Up, over. You can get another bridge, quieter one in here, up and over. So that's going to be changed out for a... and you've just got to watch you just don't bottleneck up this end. So yeah. So that's how I would do it. And of course, get your central station here, which just leaves what I need to know, sorry, before I continue anything else. It's the depth of the water. Last time the water was so deep, it made tunneling nigh impossible. So 206. It's not so deep on the rivers this time, so tunneling's a little bit easier. Down here I expect it to be a lot deeper this time. And you can tell he's had to bring it up. Yeah, so tunnelling can be done, but not highly recommended. But I think the best way is you get rid of him to start off. Well, first of all, lay down the central station first. The reason why I'm looking at tunnelling is I'd have to tunnel through here to bring the railway tracks out, and how quickly, and then probably race them through here. So you set your central station back here. So quite a lot of similarities to Manukau Ranges Part 1, but also a lot of differences on the way out as well, as you had just some subtle changes and from lessons learned. So that will be interesting to see how it is. How it is all done. So, quick recap one more time. Farming. Likely farming. City centre. Urban. Port. Or and urban, or oil. Oil is all offshore, forestry is anywhere, fishing is anywhere with water. This highway goes up here to form a 4-lane connection there, so I can bring him back down because again, there's no natural resources there. Oil's there, but not a lot. Oh, okay, well then that could... no, ore. Yeah, no, so it would be a way to tap into here, and then you bring the highway back round. So we bring him there. Get rid of him. No, keep him there as a spare, because that could... Could do. Connection here to allow the highway to go up through here. With the parallel connection coming through this end. So the highway continues up through here. Railways will follow the highways. So that would come round, join up with a connection from here to go here. get rid of that and just make that a standard interchange to bring that over. Of course, we'll have the big superhighway go back over here again, so you will see some of the big bridges. And most likely see the big suspension bridges again, so you will still see the Golden Gate come up. Yeah, as I said, city station there. So this could be interesting on how I attack this. Yeah, bring him up and over. Standard road for that. And if you're wondering how you get the city center other side, I'll again do like last time. The highway going out, I'll have a highway connection there, and you'll have entrances there as well as a parallel road there. And of course you would have your connection here as well, but one way only. It'll be only for here to access. To get back on here, you go up and oh no, you can put an on ramp here, but no off ramp. So you go around. So yeah, you can go on but not off, because otherwise, yeah, you get that big. And especially now with the height, you got to remember with Manukau Ranges first iterations, this was before the Skyscrapers DLC, and we were struggling with the existing content before that. Is the new Skyscraper DLC adds new density, which pushes your density levels up even higher. So, and we did get Metro running under and over with the deep trenches, so it can be done. So that's how it would be done. Okay, so that's it there. So the first thing we're going to do is let's get cracking. And again, like last time, we're going to be demolishing interchanges. Because I don't want these interchanges. Okay, so the interchange, I might as well knock him out. So the interchange I will want for here, but this is city centre, so you're going to need high density. That's just going to be a fact. So the one I want, last time I retrofitted everything to do this, and that caused more problems than it was with, because it caused huge segregation in the city. I don't want that segregation. It actually split the city 4 ways. I do not like that. The traffic flow on that is a real absolute and I'm probably going to go and build it. Bastard in trying to get traffic to cross over. But otherwise, the one I want is realistically that one. And I'll have to move it down accordingly. That one is actually quite a high level, and it actually works well. I've got it running some very high level scenarios, and so it's actually a beautiful interchange. Now, you're going to pack a stink because of the power lines? Yes, you are, because reasons. Okay. Which also just led to a massive undergrounding project at the same time. So what I'll just do is knock these out. And then probably sink them under. Oh, perfection. Just about got it there. I like that. It's Ben having a good... me having a good... So I just need to actually stretch these two up just a little bit more, and I'll use the... we'll do some... Why are they sitting as bridges? Oh no. Has he built them all as bridges? Oh, he has... Is that because of the terrain leveling? I don't know if he has. Oh, he has. Which also means... What I really don't like about it is they just ganked it. That I can't put the streetlights in automatically. So we'll just do it automatically this time. And has he done it this side as well? He's probably done it right back to the bridge. No, he hasn't. Thank goodness for that. Small. Anticipating doing this. Never mind. Has he actually got streetlights running all the way through this time? He didn't last time. No, he doesn't. Okay. That's fine, so I'll have to do that later on. This doesn't bother me, it just depends on how the players do it. The creators do it. Some days it's a bit of a naff, other days it's a bit of a... okay, whatever. Parallel tool. Didn't need to do it too far. Perfect, and it should allow me now. Whoops. Huh. Okay, that was a bit too far. Close enough, actually. Perfection! Now let me just draw these ones back up. Oh dear, if you can hear that in the background, apologies, that's the fire alarm for our volunteer fire brigade. So no, the missiles ain't flying. No, I don't need to evacuate for a flood because I'm in high ground. This is the fire service being called out probably because of flooding. So we'll just street light this all up. Excellent, and these can be widened up to 3 lanes right off the bat. So, 6 lanes I should say. So, not too bad to worry about. So I can, especially if I want to do asymmetrical lanes, which... the siren's winding down now. Bit of a dog leg in there. Okay, and I will upgrade that to my favorite roundabout. Zoink. Okay, so that's that done, and then I figure I'm actually doing roading infrastructure first. Usually I do power and water first, but because of the way this map runs... Ah, excellent. That allows that to go over too. Sweet, which means I can now bring a standard bridge over. Or even a road rail, road transit, or road tram, depending on what I do. Sweet. So that leaves me designing this one up. And because of the way that's going to run a... that is a highway to highway. So... this is where it gets a little bit more on the fun side because I've got to now anticipate those curves. So I want him coming across here actually. Can't do it too far south actually because yeah, so because I've actually got to bring it so most likely actually drop it in here, but the problem is then I've got to bring it, curve it right round. So you're stuck in the rock and the hard place because then the best way to do is actually find out where the oil... won't hit the oil, so likely bring the interchange off here and bring it around and go both directions. And trust me, when you've got a lot of heavy industry, you generate a lot of traffic, including if the railway system is present, because it's going to and from everywhere. So, I have never seen the justification of using this one. I have built it, but, ironically, that would require it. Yeah, see, the way that's set up doesn't quite... See, I can bend one around, can't bend the second one round. And if I try and do it through here, I have to bend the other highway around quite significantly. So it's actually too big. Surprising, this function's also working again too. Now, ironically, the big one actually might work. So I was to bring him here. No, the cloverleaf does work. I'm just going to need to... Now this is where I sit here and start to ponder life. Knowing how much the traffic generated up here was last time. I actually might silly enough, as silly as this is going to be, actually built because it did generate a lot of traffic last time with the industry up here. So might be building it after. In fact, we will be building it after all. So and I just terraformed that out, which, it actually forms a good point, but. So you want to bend him around so you can curve it properly there. Which means a bit of modification. Well, remember, that's being demolished, so I don't need it. So it actually, in a strange sense of irony, actually gives, because I'm moving that to down here and around, it actually gives more urban room to move, more room to develop in here. Now, I've had an oil field, whoop-de-zip-diddy-doo-dah. But you can build either side of it. You can see how he's trying to do it. Get it away from the fields, and I've just landed smack bang in the middle of both. Actually, in fact, all three. 1, 2, 3, 4. But in a way it also works as well. So I can bring him around through here. He connects through here. So you've got a lot of room to put your heavy industry service. He goes out this way and services here. Yeah, so it, as I said, ironically, works. Now, ooh, yeah. Just wondering if that will work this time. Am I? Yes, it does, which means I can just turn that off. Put that in there, so that works fine. Now it means that there's a little bit of a dog leg around. Yeah, definitely frees up for the industry to be built. And also the rail, because rail, as we know, takes a lot of room. So we put parallel mode back, not upgrade you, twit. And that's just a case of you just, if you want to know what you do here, you build a cutaway. And you put your ramps here. Problem solved. Right. What the... Now, why would you do that? That's an interesting quirk. Parallel mode on. Okay, then go figure. First part of the build, we're busy demolishing things, and okay, that should be easy to bring around. Ah, so playing road engineer today. Go figure. Ah, I like these guidelines. Has he used the bridge? Oh, he would. Okay, so that brings him up, and now remember, that's disappearing. So... Just make sure I don't destroy the power lines. And remember, we're going to drop another interchange in here. So what we will do is... Ooh. That looks a bit... Might actually have to redraw those. In fact, I will do, because that looks... That's one good way of having an accident. Dear, oh dearie me. Right, that deals with that. Consider those passing bays until I do the upgrades. Okay. Now, where is that connection? I don't like it. Oh, there it is. There we go. So we've reconnected that up. Yep. So there's a bit of a dog leg. Ideally, I could have placed. It doesn't do much because you still haven't got to address it. The other way I could do it is eventually blast a hole and tunnel through. So that just leaves the connection here to work with, which I will build as well, so it's just all set to go. Because that's also going to be the alternative city link in and out. So let's see, this might require a bit of work. Because the problem is these bridges were extremely narrow. So I don't want city traffic coming through there again. So that's the short side. And this time you are going to end up tunneling. In fact, if anything, we could be actually carving a side out of the mountain. So what I want to do looks like we are going to be carving that side out of the mountain. Woohoo! Mass terraforming. For the first residents even move in. Okay. No, that's not going to connect because of the that bridge might have it quite. Yeah, bridge might have it set quite far apart. Underground, so okay. Okay, we will be blasting a way through the hill. So, doing a Waikato Expressway, woohoo. Yeah, that's going to be a bit off because of the way the bridges are done. And I really actually don't like them. These cause a lot more problems when they did last time, so we are going to be blasting a hole through the hill. Oh, yeah, the things we do. There you go. I was going to say anarchy shouldn't be on. Okay, where's the highway? Whoops. No. Oh, okay, that's... Ah, that's what I did not want. Never mind. So. Oh, dear. Right, let me just do some strategizing for a second, connecting that up. Okay. Excellent. And then that should allow... Perfection. After we've just blasted half a mountain out. Oh, just because, to get our highway connections done. Wow, that's an expensive way to start. The national authorities are going to pay a pretty penny for that. The city, they'll be wanting the city to pay off its dividends equally as fast. For this one. For that one. Because, whew. Alright, it's done now. Now, and guess what? I have to knock these ones back too. So, good old undergrounding. Now, highway. I want a 6-laner. That would be good. It's a case of which one's going to work. Yep. So I should be able to... Now that's going to be interesting. Oh, I faced the ramps, ironically, the right bloody way. Now there's no shipping passing under this, so I don't need to go and bust a nut there. Oh, perfect. Now, what the heck? There's no way that's a 6er. That cuts right across. Hey, we'll try that again. That does not work. Okay, those don't work either. I wonder if that was... I have a sneaking suspicion that was... that would be interesting to draw. I don't need a raised. That could actually be a little bit... it could be too high. I'll never get that off the floor. I think that's going to be a case of too long or too short. That one works nicely. As ironically does the cable stay, which I actually need to elevate ever so slightly. There we go, that works fine. Whoops, I've released the simulator. That was not wise. Okay, so that's fine. Yeah, I've got to get all the pop-ups now. Excuse while that cycles. Oh, that's good. That's because it's already a 6-laner. That makes that straightforward, because what I can do is then we drop down. We do have the that's roading. Try that again. We do have the 6-laner. And I can drop them down to here. With that, try that again. Connecting into here. So, and done. That looks a bit off. That looks incredibly off. In fact, I'm gonna let's try that again. 5 meters. Ah, that looks a bit better. So it doesn't... I just realised something. Ferries. I have not anticipated ferries, because ferries would be running up and down here. Oh, zip-diddy-doo-dah. That's going to be interesting. Let's... Now that's going to get interesting. I might actually... How high does that need to be to support ferries? Okay, that's 15. Can I get down to 12.5? No, I can't. Okay, that's going to be a bit interesting on the bridge elevations. Okay, that's going to get a bit interesting. Trying to sync that. Okay. Where's the will, there's a way. It's very steep at that level. That could literally be a case of going up and over. And flattening that out. So a roll reversal on the bridge. Okay. So another day in paradise as you try and work out your janky roads. Okay, so that's a little bit of a roll reversal. Okay, and yeah, so going to need a little bit of splitter. All right, so that's just I'm having to roll reversal this a bit, or I can be. Bit steep. It's not the steepest in the world I've ever dealt to. Yeah, there's a bit of a dog leg off that one. I'm just wondering. Do that again, but just. This is wet. Oh, should. There we go. Right, and that forms that connection, and that allows the because that's a thing. I can get another one in, but that allows the into city center connection. Basically through here and around. So that would be a good one. Interesting or ironic. To drop a suspension bridge. So that would have to actually leg round. The other way into the to bring it into the cities, although that's not gonna work, is I could bring it in. No, that doesn't work. So you would bring it in through here and get another use a roundabout one to form the highway back off in that direction. So I think the best way to do that before we tail off is get the big 6-laner out now. Yep, totally missed. Maybe not actually. Could be actually a bit. Nope, I will actually just set it for that one. And then I'm going to hold fire because if I'm bringing a transit connection across, I don't know which one it is yet because I haven't planned the city centre. Hold fire because it could be I could be doing a I could be bringing things like the rail connections over. So which is more than likely. It depends on how I set the rail up to intercept from here, so up and over. So hold fire. But for the moment we've got it, which means for the last one before we set up, let's demark out the city centre. Perfect. And then we will put in the subway interface, put in the road tunnels. That will work. It depends on how I set the city interface. Don't want to set the botanical gardens though yet. So there we go. That marks the central station, which then leaves the Nuka. Before I do that, before I go sinking that all over the place. No, it's on the other side. If I wish to establish ore so close. Oh, I actually have to do it that way because the way the lines are set. And somebody tells me that was a coal-fired power plant. No, we're not burning fossil fuels. No, 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 no. Nuka. And ironically, all the power line connections are facing out the other direction. It's the big nuclear power plant. Mr. Burns. We don't speak about Mr. Burns. Okay, and then that leaves always building your emergency sewer connection. That just leaves your fresh water. Somewhere around here. All right, let's grab the obligatory screen grabs. And all the work we've done just putting on a road, some highways. And then of course reset to northern direction. Zoom right out. And we take it from there. So we'll get the infrastructure laid out. I'm just going to decide which end to start with first, down this end again or up this end. We'll soon see. But in the meantime, I'm Palpatine001 aka the Senate, and this is our second new city, Neo Manukau Ranges. And yeah, we'll be back with either CS1 or CS2. The Pacifica City Race Day with CS1, Waikato with CS2, or Manukau Ranges with CS2. As always, planning, building, and experiencing.